Here's the 0-1. This is going to be a tough play. Bryant, the Cubs win the World Series. Bryant makes the play. It's over. And the Cubs have finally won it all. 8-7-10.
Welcome to Club 120. The ultimate roundtable for diehard Cubs fans and lovers of all things sports and lifestyle.
Strike three, you're out.
Hosted by Neil and Nate, two former baseball players and coaches turned loud mouths with strong opinions and even stronger banner. Get ready for quick-hitting, time-answer segments packed with wit, laughs, and the occasional heated debate. From analyzing Cubs on-field action to diving into off-field drama, no topic is off limits. So grab your glove, pour a drink, and pull up a seat at Club 120, where the banner's quick, the takes are hot, and the Cubs always come first. Let's get started.
Play ball.
Hey, Cubs friends, it's 120. You know what that means. It's time to grab an old style and a bleacher seat. You're in the Club 120 show. Let's talk Cubs. I'm Nate, and with me as always is the man who dropped a ball from Nico last week. After I called him off, no less. Neil, what's on the lineup card today?
Oh, you just had to bring it up. You had to bring it up. I mean,
But
look,
the video. Everything but the video at this point.
yeah. I mean, I was right there. I was open. There's no excuse. There's no excuse. I mean, I have plenty of excuses, but I'm not going to. This is not the place to air those out right now.
I appreciate that. What's on the list today?
Man, we got a great show today. We're back in our respective home towns, states, wherever you want to call it. So we're ripping and roaring with a regular show here. We're going to start off with a lineup shakeup. As most of you probably know, the lineup looks a little bit different now, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Shōta and his outing yesterday versus the Pirates. Extend Jed is our third topic, which will be interesting. Can't wait to get to that one. We're going to talk a little bit of prospects, a little bit of NL Central, and then we're going to wrap it up with Stix versus Swords. So let's dive right in, man. Lineup shakeup. What'd you think of Dansby Swanson being moved down, traditionally batting fifth? He's been moved down to the 8th spot in the lineup due to a little bit of a slump, hitting just 181 with a 577 OPS. What are your thoughts?
Well, immediate results, right? So the Tuesday night game results in 4 home runs, an outpouring of offense. Was it the lineup change? Was it the location change? I said, hey, a little road trip might do us all a little good, and it did. Good thing it's against the Pirates. I was hoping there wasn't going to be a letdown, but we were due offensively, honestly. So I'll give it a week to see what immediate results that we're going to see, considering Craig gave it 6 weeks. I don't know why it took this long. Are we really coddling to these players that much? I thought that might change immediately when he shook the bullpen up so quick. And I feel like he was waiting for the batters, which, I have to hit here, right? You've been there as a player. I love hitting here, and I prefer to hit here. And this is where I'm comfortable. And hitting is so hard that we want to allow that to be the case, right? But at some point, you just have to shake it up. So I appreciate that they did. And I don't care how much you're making. Your name's still on the lineup card. So you could be, you could be something else, not playing. So it doesn't matter whether you're first or last. You're on the card, and Dansby should not matter about where he's at. He just needs to start hitting the ball and become a good hitter again. And that's what all we've been waiting for. Honestly, I've been waiting for 2 years to see that. I gave him a little bit of time to settle in, but last year was deplorable, and this year is not much better. So I'm waiting for Dansby to actually be a hitter.
Yeah, I think I've been waiting for a long time to see Craig really manage the roster. And I think we're starting to see it. I think it started a couple of weeks, maybe even last week, or the Padres series, where I thought Craig is really starting to manage the roster, manage the call-ups, and sending kids back down. But I think what he's doing here is trying to take some pressure off of Dansby. But ironically, you made the comment last night. I don't know, we had Twitter conversation going. We had a text conversation going, and I don't remember which one it was on, but you made the comment last night, like the bottom of our lineup's really producing anyway. Like you put them at the bottom of the lineup. Now that's where all the production was coming from anyway.
Sure, that 8 seems to be magic this year, doesn't it? So maybe let him ride that 8-hole to some confidence. Is he an 8-hole hitter? Gosh, I hope he's not. For $177 million, you hope you're not paying for an 8-hole that can punch it around the yard. But the bigger concern for me is not where Dansby's at, because here's the best part of Dansby. As soon as the bat does streak out, which he is streaky, when he starts streaking hot, everything else goes away for 2 to 3 weeks at a time, because guess what hasn't changed? His defense. So we'll give him an A+ on that part, because mentally, my goodness, taking those at-bats into the field is so easy. And it has not affected him one bit. He's leading the charge defensively to a flawless record so far as his positioning is concerned, and getting after it. And he's laying out there. He's not just taking all the routine stuff. He's getting after it. So he's contributing. Here's my question. You can't contribute if you don't play. So one lineup change we saw last night was something that we were barking out. Bush hitting against a lefty. How could you get better if you don't play? That's my concern. What is the concern in your eyes about exposing Michael Bush to lefty pitching at this point?
Well, here's the deal. We can throw that theory out the window. Like, it's going to happen because Justin Turner's not producing. So, I think Michael Bush against left-handed hitting is still better than Justin Turner hitting. It's at any spot. So, I'm not sure how long we ride the Justin Turner train, to be honest with you. But Michael Bush, I think where we are now and Justin Turner's lack of performance is going to force a situation where Michael Bush is going to have to be in the lineup every day, and he's going to have to hit no matter who's throwing. And I like that. So,
hey, there's a lot of ways you can get creative here. If you want him to learn how to hit lefty pitching better, DH him. That way he can study the video. He can sit there with DK, walk through the next AB, and start helping him plan better, right? There's a lot of ways we can do this, but not exposing him or keeping him from his, stunting him from doing it, it's got to stop. He proved it last year that he can play ball in any situation, any position that you want to put him in. So let him keep balling, and we'll keep growing. And that's the bottom line. That's the shakeups that we needed to see. And you know what? Honestly, it needed a little shakeup from the managerial spot too. That wasn't an easy call, right? That's not an easy call to take your leader and your captain and throw him in the 8-hole after he's been hitting in the 5-hole.
No, that wasn't easy. And moving on, let's talk about things that weren't easy. I think everyone in Cubs fandom last night's heart skipped a beat in the middle of the 6th inning. Shōta was electric, right? Like, his stuff was good. He was great. The thing that bothers me about Cubs fans is Shōta can be absolutely electric, and and then you see the comments that are like, well, it's the Pirates. And it's like, you know what? The Cubs were 7-6 against the Pirates last year. Like,
don't remind me. Hey, careful.
I'm just saying, like, it doesn't matter who it is. Like, the other team's trying to win. Like, the other team's trying to get hits, and they're professional hitters. Like, right. But his recent start was last night, obviously we record on Wednesday, we release this on Thursday, but last night he was electric, and that's the Shōta that that's the must-see TV that we talked about in the preseason, man. That
the beauty of Shōta right now is he's not missing a ton of bats, but he's still throwing up zeros. And every great pitcher goes through this. Nolan Ryan got hit up a lot. Pedro gets hit up, right? You can have a 2.4 ERA and be dealing and still give up runs. And we forget that while we're watching, because all we want is last night. We want to win 9-0. Nobody strikes out, and we strike everybody else out, right? Like, that's what we want as a fan. But the reality is he's throwing up donuts in spots where he gets squeezed and a double happens, where he could just throw his hands back and be like, this is ridiculous. And there was maybe 6 or 7 of those opportunities last night alone. That is a microcosm of what he's been seeing this season. Not missing a ton of bats, not extremely dominant, but impressive. just a pitcher, and he's pitching, and that's all that you can ask for right now, especially with that. Now, be still my heart. I screamed last night on Twitter, and you just screenshotted it and sent back because you weren't live, and you were like, "What is happening?" And that I stopped. I really did. The script did not have number 1 and number 2 starters out by May. That's not the script that I'm reading. Nobody gave me any changes to this script, and I'm not interested in any rewrites at this time. We'll just keep going. Thank you very much. We'll take our leg cramp, give him a banana and some pickled juice, and we'll see you in 6 days. Okay? Good.
Yeah, no, with Justin Steele out, his health is critical. I mean, there's just no other way to put it. Like he has to stay healthy for us to have any shot in the regular season or the postseason. I mean, nobody like Justin Steele or Shōta are walking back through that door. You can have names up there on the trade board right now and be like, oh, these are guys we're going to go get at the deadline.
Right.
It's not Shōta and it's not Justin Steele. And he's got to stay healthy.
No, not for this park and the experience of being here, right? To already be a Cub and to not have to bed in for a month of, oh, this is my new routine with a new team. Also, it would cost you a heck of a lot more at this point to have to go replace Justin Steele and Shōta. It would immediately force the sale of some prospects that we would all lose our minds over. Simply because we're a dang good team right now. And at that point, you would have to make that commitment, right? Chips in, guys out, right? Prospects gone. Speaking of who would have that difficult decision, everybody's talking about an extension. Do you feel like there's an extension that would be even more valuable to the Cubs as far as what they're talking about with these players and those players' future?
Yeah, man. I mean, I appreciate you setting me up for this topic, and I appreciate you throwing me under the bus because we are probably going to get crucified for this one. But I'm going to lay it out there. Like, we need to extend Jed Hoyer. Like, he's, people can knock Jed and all they want. At the end of the day, Ricketts is pulling the strings, and Jed has been able to build what this team currently is under the constraints of Tom Ricketts. And he's been able to build a winning team. I mean, look, we're going to get into NL Central here in a minute, but like I saw yesterday, they put out early odds makers put out the early odds on favorite to win the World Series, and the Cubs are the favorite right now. And Jed has done that under budget. Like, well, that's mind-blowing.
I think we have the wrong villain, and you're right. And I'll co-sign this. We've been co-signing this together and building this up. So I'll stand next to you arm in arm in this, because the reality is, Cubs fans and Cubs friends, honestly, we are barking at the wrong guy. We want to bark at Jed for moving players, missing on guys, or sending prospects out. Guess what? He has to. That's his currency. His currency is a dollar amount that does not equal the Yankees or the Dodgers, and a prospect pool that's better than most. So he's got it. And that's what he did, right? He saw Tom said, do this, build me this, right? And gave him the constraints of how much actual cash you have. But there's another currency in baseball, and Jed is maximizing that to the point where, look at what we have right now. If a guy goes down, we've got a prospect to fill a spot that we are excited about. We would not like to see him long-term yet, maybe, right? Because he doesn't fit in this year's plan. But man, there's some guys that if they got shipped off tomorrow, we'd be upset. But that's the currency of baseball. So you can't get married to prospects. Imagine this. Go to your boss right now and ask for 20% more to do your job, to go be number one in your field. Just take any industry you're in. Take what you do for a living and just go walk into your boss's office and go, hey, we're at this. We need about 25% more to compete with everybody else around us. Not me personally. I don't need more. The business needs more money. You just need to pony up cash, right? Who's walking out of that office with a yes? Nobody. Nobody's walking out. So that's what he's doing every day. He wants to walk in that office and say, I need more money, but the answer is no. And Tom just looks at him like that scene in Moneyball. What else can I help you with, Jed? and it's annoying.
Yeah, I mean, but my thing is, we're expecting him to go. We want him to extend Kyle Tucker. We want him to extend PCA.
Uh-huh.
And Jed is reading these tweets, and I mean, he's probably not. I mean, honestly, I don't know if Jed gives two rips what Twitter says about him, but we want him to make all these extensions when he has no guarantee. He could be in freaking Cleveland next year.
Yeah,
He could be in Miami next year.
Yeah. Why build Rome when you have to live in Cleveland? This is our window.
Yeah, I mean,
it's our window. Plain and simple. Let's just embrace this for what it is. We have young, cheap MLB talent in stars like PCA and Michael Bush. We have veterans like Dansby and Kyle Tucker and Ian Happ. We have arms. Jed built this. Jed built all three parts of this game: the prospect pool, the available talent, the signing of some key free agents. Like, look at where would we be in the last few weeks without Colin Ray? $5 million. Seems like a throwaway deal. We bitched about it, but I can't wait to see him throw on Wednesday or Thursday. Let's go. So he's been asked to work in some very tough environments as far as budgetary constraints in the world and the competitive world that he lives in. A heck of a job. How would he not be rewarded first to show the players we're willing to commit to the plan that this guy pitched you to begin with? He's pitching this plan to Tucker and his agent and his family. He's pitching that to every single one of these kids and veterans to extend and stay here. Build with my plan. Believe in me. Well, your owner doesn't even believe in you, Jed. You're pitching a lame duck right now, and I feel for you, brother. So let's extend Jed. Flat out extend Jed.
I couldn't agree more. Okay, so moving on to prospect watch. Prospect props. Top prospects: Owen Caissie, Moisés Ballesteros, Cade Horton are all performing well in AAA.
Yeah.
How do their potential call-ups align with the Cubs' current roster needs and balancing the immediate team need with long-term player development, i.e. Matt Shaw? Addressing a need at third base. Like the big club has a need at third base. However, long-term player development is probably better for him to stay down for another 100 at bats.
100%.
I would argue the same with Cade Horton. Like, if Cade Horton comes up now, first off, who does he replace? Second, is he going to develop more as a professional baseball player by getting 3-4 more outings in AAA?
I think everybody that you listed does not actually have a timeline plan besides Matt Shaw. None of those other players had a timeline plan before the trade deadline. And here's why. We knew that we cleared the way for Matt Shaw. He's back down there for some development, so they're committed to that development plan. And I don't think we now see him until the trade deadline either. And I don't mean that as a trade piece. I mean, look, bud, we're going to make sure that this one sticks. And when you come back up, you're staying. And we're not going to yo-yo you anymore. If you fail after this, you're not coming back to Iowa. This is your one shot. Go fly after you get tuned up and go from there. The rest of those guys, here's the thing. The currency for Jed, if you don't have a bag of cash, is prospects. Every single one of those guys could land what you need or be a part of a package to get what you need or / want in the short term and the long term. And there's several key players that I'm sure that they're isolating for any of those types of deals. I don't think we see them because they're polishing their value up right now at AAA. And it makes no sense to call Moisés Ballesteros up and have him go 0 for 12 where he can't hit the curve. And we find out, unfortunately, that he's going to need more development. Well, unfortunately, that means whoever was standing in line to get him potentially is not there anymore. Now we have to change all of our packages. So let them go polish up in Iowa as much as possible, playing double headers, getting 6, 7, 8 at-bats a day, and just filling it up. And let them be really, really shiny toys that other people want right now, because that's their main goal. And that's their role with this organization, unfortunately.
My next question, I mean, you pretty much answered it, was going to be Matt Shaw. And you obviously, you think it's the All-Star break before we see him again. And do you feel confident in, I think the next one would be either Owen Caissie or Moisés Ballesteros. Although the interesting thing about those two is they're not on the 40-man roster. However, Kevin Alcantara is.
Right.
But for some reason, I just feel that Moisés is more ready than any of them. As far as a DH/hitting, he's not going to catch, right? Like he's not going to come up and take the spot of either one of these guys that are catching now. So do you think we see Moisés Ballesteros or Owen Caissie before the All-Star break, if at all?
I just don't think so. I think they're going to ride it. As much as you want to hear them banging doubles off the wall, and what's that, another Moisés Ballesteros bomb and an Owen Caissie double, you want to hear about it all. That's great. But again, if they come up and they can't hit a slider, they're now immediately right back down and less valuable. So we can be patient as long as we continue to perform as a big club. The only guy that I think could scratch it, and that's because he's untouchable, and it doesn't matter what list you want to put him on, Cade Horton can come up and down at any point in time for me because they're not going to trade him. I really don't. But I do think Ballesteros, Alcantara, and Caissie, Triantos, Ben Cowell, Cowell, is it Cowles or Cowles? Cowell or Cowles? Any of those guys down there that are on any list for anybody, they're going to stay right there because they're too valuable right now, putting up great numbers at AAA to stay that pretty. I can't wait till he's a pro prospect and not tarnish anything that's valuable now. And to be on to put another note on that, that's why Cosgrove came up. That's why Pomerantz came up. That's why Chris Flexen just got called up. These guys all have major league experience. You're not going to hurt any little egos. You're not going to hurt any Iowa egos, or they're skipping the line. No, they're pros, and you're going to stay here and do your job, which is look pretty, depending on what we need right now. And they should want that because they're going to want another team to have them and put them right into major league action right away. And anybody that goes on any of that list is probably going to go straight to a team that needs them at the big league level. And we don't need them right now. Even though we want them here, we can't have them all because you can only have 26 men at a time.
Okay. So now let's move on to the NL Central. The Cubs are leading the NL Central. They're the favorites to win the division. Two-part question.
Okay.
Can they maintain this level of play? Like last year, we saw them have a great April and a historically bad May. Can they maintain their performance throughout this level of performance throughout the rest of the season? That's the first part. Second part is, are they built for the postseason?
The maintaining part, we have to wait and see. We had some pretty high vibes last year, and then it just kind of fell apart into a grinded out summer, right? To an inevitable death, slow, death march. I don't feel that with this team. It's constructed differently. Even though there's a lot of familiar faces, a couple of new ones are engaged and taking this team, I think, to another level. I don't think we're going to see that for an extended period of time of this malaise of win one, lose two, lose three, win a couple. This team's built different because they bounce back so well. So until they stop with that resiliency, I don't think they're going to have a problem. We're built for the postseason because that's what Jed said. This is Jed's plan. Back to all of it, right? Let's tie it up. There's one guy that's orchestrating all this, and he built this team for one reason, and that's to win the NL Central. And then when the NL Central, he believes that that's a 90-win team. I think we're still there, and we're just going to keep on trucking. My question to you is this: have you seen, now that we've gotten a month or so under our belt, and we went through our non-conference schedule with a little heat there. We're like, hot knife through butter right now, and I like that. Have you seen anything in the NL Central that scares you or can keep up with the Cubs going through the summer right now?
Yeah, two things that scare me in the NL Central. And unfortunately, it is the Cincinnati Reds and Terry Francona.
That's the same team.
Yeah. So, I was watching before we started recording. I don't know how that game ended up. I know they were down 1-0 in Cincinnati versus St. Louis. I don't know if they ended up pulling that out or not. I'm hoping St. Louis. That's the weird thing is, like, now I'm actively rooting for St. Louis, because they are so much less of a threat than Cincinnati. I mean, Cincinnati can. I think they've scored 20 runs. I think 15 runs multiple times this year. It's insane the amount of runs they can put on you in the blink of an eye. So they scare me. And they're a young team that seems to have zero fear of anything. Like their guys just play with reckless abandon. And man, that's that's tough because they scared the daylights out of me. And I would like to get to a point where we are consistently 4 or 5 games up on the Reds, and it would take a really bad 3-week stretch for the Reds to do anything about catching us.
Yeah, that's a scary bunch over there. Tito looks like he's definitely starting to figure it out, especially with a lot of those young players and personalities. They're Jekyll and Hyde. They'll put up 15 or they'll throw 3 straight 1-0 ball games, and they'll be on the plus or negative side of that. So it's a tough one. That would be who I'm looking at right now as far as the NL Central. But there's nothing that really totally scares me until the Reds actually come in here and do something about it. I like where we have them, and we've had them in the last few years. So I would like to see them, really step up and make me scared. They are scary, but they haven't made me scared yet. The rest of it, the Cardinals and the Brewers, they've got a lot to work on here, and I think we got an opportunity to make some hay this year in most of the Central. There's 52 games. 52 games we'll play against the NL Central opponents. What do you believe?
Yeah, so
that shakes out for the Cubs this year.
23-29 was the record last year against the teams in the Central. I'm gonna go. I'm so terrible at math. I'm gonna give you my win total, but I'm gonna have to do the math on my calculator to figure out what my loss total is.
I'll help you out.
So there's 52 games. Is that right?
That's right.
I'm gonna go 32-20.
32-20. All right. And I'm a little bit more pessimistic than you. I think we're going to struggle to get to that 30-win plateau. If we do, we're going to walk away with the Central. If the Cubs win 30 games in their own division, they're going to walk away with it because that means they're basically dominating some series. But I think we're like 29. I think we're 29 wins, and we'll push to get there. We're going to see a couple.
We just flipped last year.
I think so. I think we can flip that easily. I want to think bigger. I want to do the math. I did originally do the math like you did in your head, kind of put you on the spot there. And I'm like 35, 37. Like, we're going to drown these fools. Like, this is easy. No, this is still just like in the NFL. When you play your team twice, your whole division twice, you're gonna basically go 500 because it's familiarity. It's going to be familiarity at times, and we're going to sit there and be frustrated. You said it last year. The Pirates were deplorable, and we were 6-7 against them. We lost the season series to the Pirates last year, I believe. There's no doubt that we couldn't do that again, right? I mean, we know the Cubs.
No, yeah.
Just have to prove that we're not those Cubs. We got to be the.
I do think there's a doubt. I do think there's a doubt that that'll happen again. I doubt that that'll happen again. I feel like this year's roster is different. I mean, obviously the addition of Kyle Tucker, I think we're a lot better team.
Sure.
Than last year.
Eight games up on that in the division, say 30-win plateau. You said 32, so you're talking 8-10 games up in your own division is a good spot to be, especially with how they've started, right? The Cubs gave themselves a little bit of a head start here. Everybody else now has to go play the teams that we just had to grind out April with. So I'm interested to see where we can stretch this thing out and that we don't fall into traps like last night. The Tuesday game at the Pirates was a trap game, and they came out swinging and ready to go. And that was huge because this could have been a really interesting week if they lose that with Skeens coming on Thursday. So we got a chance to win the series on Wednesday, and we're looking forward to that. And it was good to see the Stix come alive again. You had to be really thrilled about that. Speaking of Stix versus Swords.
Yeah. I'm gonna hit this pretty quick. I know we're a little bit over time, so I'm gonna hit it really quick. I'm extending a olive branch to the Swords community because all you guys out there that picked Swords along with Nate you're down a soldier. So I am going to let you. Should you choose to accept it, I'm going to give you the one-time opportunity to insert Colin Ray where Justin Steele once was.
Any caveats?
No caveats. I mean, if he becomes a reliever, if Ben Brown gets sent down, this is it.
Okay. Well, I believe Colin Ray will have a role in this team for the rest of the year. Will he be the 4th or 5th starter? At his current trajectory, I would say yes. But I think regardless, he's shown enough to. I will take the olive branch, and I will gladly accept that. And we'll take his starts in his case, and we'll grow from there. I mean, we've been a man down. You've had a nice little power play, but we'll get back to missing some bats here this week, and I appreciate that. In the honest of in a chance of fairness here, and opportunity. We don't take that lightly, so we do appreciate you not burying us here in April, and we'll live to fight another day, Swords, and we'll just we'll take that pinch hit of Colin Ray coming, and we'll let that be an injection.
So with the substitution, and we take Colin Ray's, go ahead and give you the numbers. The numbers right now as they look. Stix are 149 and Swords are 128.
Okay. That's
where we're at.
It's a tough mountain to climb, but we're going to have to rack some up. And, we want those bats to stay hot too. I would rather this never be close. Honestly, you can't get by without getting hits, but you can get by without getting Ks. So I appreciate the olive branch. Give us an opportunity to compete for a few more weeks here, but I really hope that the bats do stay hot and run away with this thing. I really would love to not have to negotiate hits and why we aren't hitting. So you got a good head start here. Let's see if we can catch up, but I do appreciate it. And we're looking forward to another great week of Cubs baseball. And that's all I think we've got for today, huh, Coach?
That's it. That's all for our show today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for spending part of your week with us. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow on all social media platforms. We are at Club120 Show, and visit us online at www.club120show.com. Pick up some merch there. Help us out. That's all we got. Go Cubs, go.
Go Cubs, go.
This has been Club 120. Neil and Nate have practically spent their entire lives doing something centered around baseball. And with these guys, you're going to get quick-hitting, time-answer segments packed with wit, laughs, and, yes, heated debates. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon. But in the meantime, you can find us on all social media platforms at Club 120 Show. And, of course, the website at www.club120show.com. Until next time, go Cubs, go!